Welcome back to Island Life Live. We want to go back to that story that is blowing up on social media. Here to help us unpack what happened yesterday is District 1 Council Member Andria Tupola.
Aloha, Dr. Tupola. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Please let me start by saying mahalo for co-introducing a wonderful bill like this. This is huge for our kupuna veterans, yeah? And so mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. But I guess my first question is, did you think that the bill would gain notoriety based on what happened yesterday in council?
Versus what it's going to, provide.
What it's supposed to do.
Yeah. No, because Auntie Kapoa texted me, she says, Andrea, I'm coming all the way from Waianae, please make sure I want to testify. I was like, oh yes, Auntie, I will give a long speech until you get here. And then when she came, of course, she spoke in Hawaiian, which to me was normal, so I was listening, and then she said it in English, and I was like, all right, we good to go, thank you for your support. But yeah, there were other testifiers or a person that commented that it wasn't fair that she didn't understand what was said, so.
Well, I think that one of the things that was inflammatory was the fact that she said she thought it was a dead language. And that's what people started to react off of. And since the 70s and 80s, many people and organizations have worked so hard to revive our Olelo Makuahine, our mother tongue. And I just wanted to ask, did you get a chance to speak to any of our kupuna or many of the people that work at Aha Punana Leo, for instance, and how are they feeling today about that comment?
I put my children in Hawaiian immersion because I wanted them to be rooted in the culture and the language. But as you know, Punana Leo is not just about language, it's about a lifestyle.
Yes.
Culture,
and so
everything.
It's the whole thing, embracing the culture as a family. And so for me, all those years of investment and making sure that my kids are grounded, yes, in a moment I did have this feeling don't say that all of this was for nothing, because we are building this next generation of Olelo Hawaii speakers, and and of course at Kamehameha schools, my daughter is still taking Hawaiian language, and so I do feel like it was a moment to bring education into a room, but also, saddened to hear that somebody would think that it's dead.
Yeah.
Well, I do have to applaud you and Esther Kiaina and Tommy Waters for the way that you folks handled it. You could have easily have been offended, and you would have had, to be honest with you, you would have had that right as a Native Hawaiian to feel that kind of offense at something like that. But I think that you folks handled it brilliantly by addressing the fact that this language is a language that is a part of the state. It is an official language of the state, and that you folks use education, and that you folks also spoke a little bit of Hawaiian while you folks were responding to that. So thank you so much for because it sometimes is very easy for us to be upset about things, right?
Well, and just
that have happened in the
day
past.
Before that, me, Esther, and Tommy hosted a Kamehameha School's Hawaiian history class, and we told them, it'd be so nice to have more Hawaiians in the legislature, in the city council, because we need and I never thought that moment would come the next day, where we had to band together as Hawaiians and say, that we had to say, hey, this is our language, these are our people, this is our culture, and this is what we do here. So it was a moment, and even I shared it with my daughter when I went home, it was a moment for us to say, hey, this is why we're here. There are very few Native Hawaiians involved in the political process, but we're there to make sure that our culture is not forgotten and our language is well and alive.
It's so interesting because Auntie Kapoa, as you mentioned, most of her testimony was in English. So that's why I think a lot of people are incensed about that comment. Is the city required to provide an interpreter?
Because English and Hawaiian are the official languages of Hawaii, there is no requirement that there be an interpreter. However, Auntie did say it in English and Hawaiian, the exact same thing she said. So we do not want to use the language to exclude people. We want the language to be taught, to welcome people to learn more. And that's what I liked about some of the comments on the video was, you know what, I never really learned Hawaiian, but this makes me want to learn. I'm like, good.
It's people motivation.
Yes.
Well, let's normalize the language.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right.
Dr. Tupola, thank you again. I know you're super busy. Thank you for carving out some time for us. Coming up at 5 o'clock, we actually got a chance to speak to that woman who testified, and she actually has a message for the city council. You want to make sure you're tuning in for that because, I think she kind of doubles down on the comments that she made yesterday. So that's going to be coming up with our Kristen Concilio coming up at 5 o'clock. Right now, though, we are going to hit the road. Just make sure you are good on your drive back to Honolulu Hale or your Hale.
To the west side.
Over to the west side. So let's check out what our traffic looks like. Danielle Tucker is standing by at the Traffic Management Center with that look. Hi, Danielle.